Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday Chameleon Workshop. It is a wonderful Saturday, and we are going to be talking about talking about cage size today. But first of all, we need to say hello to everybody who's come and join us. If you're watching the replay, know that this is a live session that happens every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. PM means noon. Not midnight, noon, and you can come and join live any Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific. We've been doing this for over 3 years, and so we're pretty consistent. If I'm not in Madagascar, I'll be here, or Utah. Okay, travel sometimes messes things up. But anyway, hello, everybody. I want you all to know, and I'm sure you have all noticed, I found the mushroom cup. For those wondering what the heck a mushroom cup is, this is the cup that I decided was my favorite cup. Well, I just liked it. And people in the audience, you all, the community, decided that you really liked this mushroom cup. And so it became a thing for me to use this mushroom cup. And I couldn't always find it because apparently this is my wife's favorite cup. And she didn't know that I kept stealing it. But then she kept stealing it back unknowingly. So it's become quite a drama. Now, the reason why it's significant that I have it today is because I couldn't find it for a while. I was wondering where in the world. See, my wife doesn't know this is all going on. So this is all, she's just going about life. And we've got all this drama going on behind the scenes. But found out that sometimes she keeps it in her gecko room. For those who don't know, my wife is Yvette Strand of Misty Mountain Fans. And so I live in a Eurypleus fantasticus breeding facility. And my chameleons, yeah, they hang out here too. But I literally had to change the species that I work with indoors to match the environmental conditions that Eurypleus fantasticus needs. So, you know, she's big time on this. She's serious about it. And sometimes this mushroom cup gets left in the gecko room. Now I'm learning her secrets. I'm learning where she hides stuff. So, yeah, the saga continues. All right. How's your tooth feeling? Yes, everybody, I just got some dental surgery. It's a real pain in the butt because I can't eat. I literally can't eat on either side of my mouth, and I'm like chewing with the front corner. So it's gosh. Oh, I'll be drinking a lot of smoothies, and they're not satisfying. So I'm going a little crazy here. My poor wife having to deal with this. Oh, all right. Let's see. Let's check in the chat and see. Don't know what James Cross is up to. Yeah, good question. Good question. Hello, everybody. Got grandbabies here. Well, you know what? Raise them up with chameleons. They'll do fine. They'll be like us. I don't know if that's fine, but hey, that works. Okay. We have eyes on James. Richard, our mole, our plant, who was sent to keep an eye on that guy. All right. Yeah. He needs a baby xanth. Ours are about ready for new homes. Ooh, these are Kenyan, right? Xanths are real cool, everybody. Loves it. And Wayne Beat is here to say smash the like. And people watching this this replay are saying, what the heck? What is with all these people? You know what? Because this isn't just a normal YouTube show. This is the family. We get together. We have fun. This is about community. And so, you know, if you want to just go to an entertaining YouTube channel, I've got some of those on here, but actually, no, this is the live channel. So no, this is all about live. This is all about our community, and we are having fun. So this isn't for the views. This isn't for the algorithm. This is just for us. And that's why we talk about mushroom cups and grandchildren and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry, we'll get to chameleon stuff soon enough. Vintage, very cool and totally understandable. Everyone in your house loves it. Yes, I think the funnest part was how long Yvette did not know that this was a huge thing going on, and there was a drama. And the fact that I actually found a way to hide it from her without her knowing that it would be hidden. And it's just a different place in the cabinet. So there's a lot of drama. And she was an unwitting participant in this for the longest time until she checked in to a live session at the exact right/wrong time, and my entire cover was blown. And now she still has no idea what the heck we're talking about, but she's amused. She is amused. Oh, she's here. Okay, guys. Once again, all my secrets laid bare for the world. Oh no. Oh yeah, you tell me now. Yes, everybody, I get so far behind in the chat that a lot of things go on and I'm completely oblivious. So it happens. This is life. I called off earlier in the week, so I have to go into work today. Oh no, well, bring us with you. Bring us with you. Talk about your tooth bill. Oh yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. Oh boy. Listening while running errands. Oh man, so you know everything now. Yeah, that's the problem when you go live and tell all your secrets. Oh, let's see. Working on Susie's enclosure even now. 4 foot by 3 foot by 6 foot. Nice. As we will be talking chameleon cage sizes. Yes, we will be, and that's a nice size. Oh. All right. You told on yourself, Bill. This is the way. This is the way. All right. Let's go ahead and bring up. Is there anything I need to say before I bring up the slide deck? I don't think so. Other than it's very strange. In the past, I have not had a lot of flies in my area, and I've always cursed that I don't have flies because I'm a chameleon guy. Well, for some reason, now we got flies all over the place. And the flies, we do a lot of leaving a door open because of the dogs. And when we do, the flies come in, and you see me running around the house with a net. I hate the flies, but I love catching them and putting them in the rabies cages. But I love that these babies are chowing down on flies. So it's a lot of fun. Where's the fog? Hey, if I don't got James, nobody gets fog. That's the rules here. James, fog. No James, no fog. No fog for you. No fog for any of us. We have to suffer together. Oh, hey, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Jenna's like kind of new and is already acting like acting at home. Just like, and you know what? There it is. The encouragement. My community. I tell you. Oh, and actually, Janet, that I'm serious. That's I love having you here. So yeah, you go ahead and keep that up, because I am going to one day show up with the Parsons Care Guide, and you're all going to say, "Oh, what do we do? What do we do now?" Yeah, that's right. All right, let's go ahead, and we actually have stuff to talk about, and cage sizes for chameleons. Okay. And I'm going to give you some insight for behind, but you know what? Let's go ahead. There's a couple of stuff to get out of the way, official business stuff, because we're official business people, right? We are serious people here in the chameleon community. Always. We are bad influence. You said it. You said it. Okay. Let's go ahead and start on what's going on. First, I want to let you know what's going on in the community. These things you have the opportunity to be part of. We have a first of our breeding group, which I keep saying happened to me, and I will keep saying that. But I am now officially in this, and we have a small grassroots breeding group that we're going to be working on bifidus. And more than that, we're going to be doing it as a community, as a fun thing. And so if you are, we have a monthly meeting. It's going to be on the virtual campus this Sunday, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific. Should have said Pacific there, Pacific time. And we are going to be just talking about our experiences. The bifidus are in, and we're going to be talking about the initial acclimation experiences. And the reason why this is more than just getting around and yucking it up is because I'm going to be taking notes, and I'm going to be using that to put together the bifidus care guide and cue in all the Parsons care guides. Well, you know, I'll have the Parsons care guide done before the next version of the bifidus care guide. Let's just say that. Anyway, this is going to be happening on the virtual campus. If you're wondering what the virtual campus is, just give you a brief overview. It's an island, a digital island here in the internet. It's a walled garden type thing. It's a platform that I have paid for, so it's not on social media, and I can't be kicked off of social media. I have so many friends that are being kicked off of social media now, and it's just with no recourse. Not stable there. This is a stable platform where we can establish our community, and we can be confident that it's not going to disappear because literally I pay for it. It is a paid campus, and so there is a payment for it. If you are interested in checking it out, go ahead and use this QR code. I'm going to go ahead and throw the link in the chat there. Also, if you wanted to support what I'm doing here, like a Patreon, and you don't necessarily want to get involved in talking with people or taking courses, all that, you just want to support what I'm doing here, I'd rather you support me at this one instead of Patreon. Patreon is wonderful, and if you like Patreon, 2 thumbs up, that works. But this is an active project that I'm trying to build up, and I know that this is going to be able to do wonderful things for the community. And this is where I'm able to start projects like this. There are so many features and capabilities on this platform. Like, for example, this virtual breeding group meeting. This is going to be like a Zoom. We're all going to see each other. It's on camera, so it's not like this live session. Everybody there is going to be able to talk to each other like a Zoom call, and so that's available on this platform. And by the way, anybody who's on the virtual campus, whether you purchased a class, whether you purchased forums, you can come. This is open to anybody on the virtual campus. So, yay! Thank you, Joanne. Joanne's been she was one of the originals. She was one of the originals. So, all right. I'm just going through all of making sure that I don't get too far behind in the chat, because I do that a lot. So, okay. And next Sunday, I want you all to be prepared. Once again, this is on the virtual campus, and you're going to find, you say, what is it? How come you're doing this on the virtual campus? I am investing in this platform. I want this platform to be substantial and be a learning place. Internet is a noisy place. Even these live sessions, I can give seminars here, but on the virtual campus, it's a much more intimate situation where we know each other and we can have more of a community building. And that has been a hallmark of the Chameleon Academy. It hasn't just been about chameleons. It's been about the chameleon community. And this allows us to have our own community. So I am going to be dedicating more and more attention to building out the value of this campus. And so to start, this is going to be the monthly seminar series next month, first Sunday of every month, September 7th. That's going to be a week from tomorrow. we're going to have a seminar on fostering baby chameleons. And this is going to be establishing this idea of small batch breeding to where we have people who just take care of baby chameleons. They get the baby chameleons from the breeder, who's also part of our group, and then they raise them up, and then they send them off to their new homes. It's kind of like if you like the kitten stage, well, then you can be a foster parent, and we're going to set up that structure. This is what having a community allows you to do. This is why this campus is so important to us moving to the next stage, at least my vision of what the next stage of our chameleon community is. And if you like my vision of it, well, join. If you want to have your own vision, well, 2 thumbs up for you. So we are going to be doing that seminar, virtual campus, once again, 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific time. I should put Pacific on all of these. And that's going to be next Sunday. Virtual campus is amazing. Thank you very much, Eliza Ann. Learned so much. Steve Hefner actually gets breaks from me. Good job, Steve. And this is, once again, this is the community. This is the community taking care of each other, and that's what I want to be part of. So, oh man, guess who just showed up? What the heck? Hey, what's going on here, you guys? Talking about chameleons? Look at that. He's spelling chameleons like the Latin genus name. Oh my goodness. Jenna, thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful to have you. Wild Horse Jan is saying, sorry, you've been listening. Set up my veiled up in one of the new crosscut stands. Oh, yeah, guys. So this is another thing that we're doing with community. Like James Cross has started a caging type business where he makes cages, and he does a lot with trays and stands, and the product is incredible. Love it. Love it. So there's a lot. And let's see, Mike says you can catch the parasite course in the virtual campus. Worth every penny to go through it. Yes, that, and the courses and classes are meant to really build you up as a chameleon husbandryist. And so you're going to find a lot of growth potential there. Say, you know what? Unfortunately, I didn't think about it. And so I was using James not being here as an excuse as to why I didn't have fog. I promise you for the bifidus breeding group, I will have fog. I promise you. Oh man, I feel bad now. Now everybody. Oh boy, I'm so sorry. I feel horrible. Anyway, can I need to go on. Kay, Tiny Dragons. Everybody, this book here is a book I wrote about baby chameleons, taking care of baby chameleons and husbandry, and it is now on Amazon. Okay, so you can go to Amazon and get overnight shipping and all the great Amazon stuff. If you get it from Amazon, please leave a review. This is now reviews matter so much because Amazon says, oh, okay, it's got great reviews. I'll push it a little bit more. So if you get it off of Amazon, please leave a review. Would love it. Very much appreciate it. That is a way that you could really help me out. Yikes. The fog must be sitting with the Parsons Care Guide today. Ouch. All right. Medic. So, Bill, do you have a link for Amazon? Yes. I should have. Let me get that. That's a very good point. Why didn't I think about that? I'm going to have a link for Amazon right now. Almost there. All right, everybody. Link for Amazon is going into the chat there. Thank you very much for that reminder, Nate. Thank you. Geesh. Oh, there was a fly on the outside of the chameleon cage. All right. And that says, are the crosscut stands available close so you don't see the drainage bucket? And that we actually just made that design, and I am going to work with James, and we're going to get that up on the website. So we are going to be working on that, getting it up. But it is designed, and we just have to get up on the website. But so anybody having luck with your bifidus being gravid? Not yet. Not yet. Brett just caught me like 15 drone bees to feed to my chameleon. Oh man, see, that's the kind of spouse we chameleon people love. So, all right, next is it's time to get your flight. Everybody, if you are on the Madagascar trip in January 2026, it is time to get your tickets. And I have some good news for you. The ticket prices are almost $1,000 cheaper than they were for our last trip. So we got a little window of time where we're doing great. And so go check your email. Virtual campus, there's a special space just for Madagascar people. You check that and it's time to get your flight. There will be all the details there, a little bit of hints and tips, and where we're going to meet. We're going to meet in Paris. So get on that flight. Using. Wait, what? What? What do you mean what? I don't know. But yes. Yes, definitely. We are now getting ready. And this is what you can see in Madagascar. And I'm just going to give you some Madagascar stuff because I love it so much. What species of chameleon is that? Oh, 100%. Yes, James, I can't believe it. What the heck? It's like ridiculous. And so if that means you can go, let's go. This is a shamrock chameleon. This is a Kaluma o'Shaughnessy that is in Ranamafauna, and this comes from our trip in January. So this is what you're going to be seeing. And this is the kind of people you're going to be hanging out with. They look happy. They are happy. See, that's the wonderful thing about going as a community, is because we're making these memories and we go together. It is a whole heck of a lot of fun. It really is. And of course, you get to see the chameleons. That's a male first for minor, and so very rare. So very rare. I mean, previous pick? What? The previous picture Nate was talking about. That's actually a male first for a minor. That's what you're talking about. All right. and yes, you interact with lemurs. Don't touch them. Don't try to touch them, but sometimes they touch you. And as long as you don't try to touch them, they're fine using you as a tree branch to get to the next tree branch. It's kind of funny, but anyway, it's just incredible. And yes, Geraldine, you will, if all goes well, and the probability is 90% that we will see an eye. Incredible. And lemurs steal coffee. Fair warning. Yes, they do. James got mugged for his coffee. Only James. Oh, the first time I've ever heard that happening. But yep, James got mugged for his coffee. Have you seen any first for Baltiotis in your Madagascar adventure? Yes. I have seen them every time I've gone. I've gone twice, and I've seen them each times. Yeah. So we probably, now that's not, I am more certain that we will see an eye than we will see Baltiotis, but I have eked out a first for Baltiotis each time, just one. So, and of course, you get to, I'm the one on the left. That's us. And this is my, I have a special mission when I go, is because I need to let all the good boys know that they're loved. And there's a lot of stray dogs in Madagascar, and everybody knows I bring dog treats. I literally had to leave my tripod home because I had to make a choice between the tripod and dog treats. I brought the dog treats. I love these good boys. And look at that puppy down there. Oh my goodness. They don't have a whole lot of food there, so I make sure I bring some treats. So yes, you will see me. The thing is, the dogs there aren't used to being treated well, and so they're very suspicious of me. And so you gotta be careful. You gotta be slow in making friends. But once they figure it out, they're very appreciative. And really, you get to see Madagascar. It is incredible just being there and seeing it. And so once again, I do have, I can take 2 to 4 people more. So I'd like to get 2 more people. But if you have a party of 3, I can take up to 4 more people. So if you're interested, please email me at bill@chameleonacademy.com. There's still enough time to get it all set up, and contact me. Let me put, here we go. Contact me there at bill@chameleonacademy.com. So Geraldine says, can't wait till January. Geraldine, it is an amazing adventure, and it will bypass your expectations. And you can ask anybody who went. Just ask James. James, did it exceed your expectations? Was it a good experience? James 3, running late. James 3, you want to go to Madagascar this January? You should all go to Madagascar this January. I just showed everybody. Harvey on my probably exceeded expectations. Yes. All right, everybody. What the heck did we get here for? Bill's been talking about all sorts of things. Says far beyond my expectations. Yeah, it's an incredible. I mean, I've been there before, and it was still incredible. So join us, James 3. Yes, James 3. You should join us and bring Luke. He would just go nuts over this stuff. I mean, let's show. There you go. That's the fun you can have. So imagine Luke with the lemur jumping on his head. I keep saying that because I was so like Luke when I was a kid. Oh yeah. All right. So let's start talking about cages, and I'll give you a little bit of a background as to what's going on. Everybody, we all know that the industry standard cage is a 2x2x4. Where do we get that? Well, it's very funny in a way, because I know the guys that made the original 2x2x4 foot tall cage. They are the ones who I started Dragon Strand. They started making my Dragon Strand products in 2013, and eventually became just Dragon Strand. At the beginning, I was just another customer of theirs, but they had been making screen cages for quite a while. And there was a pet store in Chatsworth who said, I want to offer a screen chameleon cage, and I've got 2 feet of shelf space. So make this a cage that can fit in 2 feet of shelf space. And they created the 2x2x4 cage. And here's a little bit of trivia. It was actually 23 3/4 inches wide, so it could fit into a 24-inch space. And you say, okay, but what about the Reptibreeze? Okay, well, Zoomed actually grabbed one of these cages, sent it to China, and said, give us a 24 by 24 by 48. And so China looked at this and said, okay, we'll give you a 24 by 24 by 48. And that is how the Reptibreeze XL started. Now, you can tell that the Reptibreeze was created by some marketing guy saying 24 by 24 by 48, because when you get all the pieces, it's a complete mess in packing. When you get the cage from the guys that I eventually went through for Dragon Strand, and you get that cage, you notice that all the pieces are the same size, or the side and back are the same size. So when you wrap them, they form a stronger shipping product. That was designed for manufacturing and for the specification. The Zoomed one was just designed because of a marketing spec. And so if you're in the cage industry, you kind of see how much work went into different aspects of the design. Anyway, that is how, and once Reptibreeze became XL was available, and it was sent to the Reptibreeze line was sent all over Petco, it became the standard. So our standard of 2 by 2 by 4 foot tall cage is literally, it's there because that's how much shelf space a pet store in Chatsworth, California had for a cage. Now, you're thinking, but wow, we've kind of gone far. And yeah, we still have the 2 by 2 by 4 foot tall today. It's a staple of the Dragon Strand. And we have added so much as far as features, and it has grown and evolved. It's turned into a hybrid line. In fact, Dragon Strand was that's what started Dragon Strand, is offering hybrid cages. Before Dragon Strand in 2013, it was only screen cages that were Chameleons, couldn't be in anything except screen cages. They would die if you had them in anything other than screen cages. Me starting Dragon Strand was me putting my foot down and saying, enough of this garbage. Hybrid cages are better than screen cages. And so here is a hybrid cage company. We need hybrid cages in the Chameleon community. Right now, you look around, hybrid cages all over. New company comes up, hybrid cage. Hybrid cages are the standard. Why? It's because they're better cage. But back in 2013, it was only screen cages. So there's a little bit of history of how we get where we are. It was me fighting tooth and nail to get us into hybrid cages. And the thing you're saying, wait a minute. So over 10, 15, 20 years ago, we had the 2 by 2 by 4 as a standard cage. And yet all this time, we keep talking about bigger is better and all this kind of stuff. But it is still the standard. Why is 2 by 2 by 4 foot the standard? Well, this is where we start getting into other aspects that go into creating a product, including manufacturing materials and shipping. Like I said, we have a whole lot of hybrid cages now. The reason why those hybrid cage manufacturers are hesitant to go beyond the 2 by 2 by 4 is because the PVC sheets come in, 4 foot by 8 foot? Is that it? Anyway, they are easily cut into the 2 by 2 by 4 foot sizes. If you go beyond 2 by 2 by 4, you end up getting less yield per sheet and your costs skyrocket. And so if you do go beyond 2 by 2 by 4, you need to be able to justify it to a customer, or else no one's going to buy it. You notice how if anything's larger than 2 by 2 by 4, they're very expensive. This is why. I get all these people saying, oh, Bill, you keep charging extra money, more money than you should because you are greedy and you want to fleece the community. No, you idiots. Look at the manufacturing. That's why it is. And then, but you're saying because you've been listening to what I've been saying. You've been saying, okay, but wait a minute, that's PVC sheets. You make screen cages, Bill. Why do screen cages stop at 2x2x4? Well, now we start to get into shipping problems. You do anything beyond like 25 inches by 47 inches, anything beyond that, you get an extra surcharge on it. And FedEx is not nice if you have oversized, and a lot of my cages are oversized. And so the shipping is just ridiculous. And so we've got these external factors that are working on us that dictate the size, the general size of commercial cages that are not, have nothing to do with chameleon husbandry. And so that's what goes on behind the scenes when we're starting with cages. And yes, there are lots of cages, chameleon cages, that are larger than 2x2x4, but you notice they start to become custom. They start to become expensive. Like I have the large atrium, that's a 4x2x4, and it's pricey. It's a great product, but it's pricey. And these are the reasons why it's pricey. So the thing is, as much as I would love to say our standard for Panther chameleons is now 30 inches wide or 36 inches wide, the minute we do that, we add on a whole lot of costs. Now you're saying, oh, but I love my chameleons. It's worth the cost to give them a better life. You're right. And for you, there are a lot of options, a lot of better options. But for the general populace, they still aren't sure that they want to spend all that money. And so they are going to be going for the more efficient and more effective. And you got to say, step back and say, that's smart. They need to start at an easy to start off place if we want to have a strong community. Strong community happens when people are able to get in. And by having those smaller cages, people are able to get in, and then they can grow from there. But this is, there's a lot of resistance to offering a bigger cage that has nothing to do with the chameleon community. It's in manufacturing, it's in shipping, and the final price that comes because of it. So materials are expensive, and so is good. Oh my goodness. Oh, Jenna. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to hear somebody out there realizing this. Oh my goodness. I got somebody who says, your stuff is so expensive, you're overcharging. My response is, oh, so you can do it? Because I'll buy it from you. You can be my manufacturer now. And boy, none of them step up to that plate. All of a sudden, their time is worth something, and they don't have the skills to do it. Oh, okay. So yeah. Yep. Skills to do it right. And I got to tell you, making screen cages is not as easy as going to Home Depot and just doing it. We've had so many people thinking it's easy and to do it. It is not easy to do it well. I mean, you can throw something together, and I've seen some things that people throw together, and it's like, okay, you're proud of that. Yeah, I mean, it's great for a DIY project, but to use that as an example of how easy it is, yikes. So yeah. Jenna says, I've had many freight shipments. I've paid well over $2,000 in shipping alone. I tell you, everybody, the whole Amazon thing, free shipping, they are not paying the shipping. They're making the manufacturers end up paying things with fees and stuff like that. And then they get shipping companies to give them discounts that are not available to small businesses. Yeah, we in the small businesses, we're the ones subsidizing the Amazon free shipping. So it's ridiculous. James, speaking from experience, screen cages are not easy. Yeah. James is going through this right now. So anyway, that is what we're doing. That's where we are. And you hear me, I keep pushing for, let's do a larger cage. And I'll tell you from behind the scenes, I want a 3-foot cage, but the 3-foot cage, at least with the way we're doing things now, isn't that much isn't that it isn't that much less expensive than the 4-foot cage. I think the 3-foot cage would be an incredible cage. In fact, I did one with my last caging company, which had to close. But it is because it would be a great mid-range. For Panther Chameleons, I want something wider than 24 inches, but a little bit more easy to fit into the home than the 4-foot, and the 3-foot is perfect. But you back to that manufacturing and shipping and such, the costs end up, and because the labor is the same, so the costs end up being so close to a 4-foot that it's just I can't convince my manufacturer. I can't put the numbers together to make it happen. Still working on it. Oh, Joanne says, never regretted my DS Atrium and shipping to Canada. That's the 4-foot wide cage. Thank you very much for saying that, Joanne. Yeah, oh yeah, getting something from US to Canada, you would be surprised at how expensive that is. Amazing. All right, we need to go on. So the question is, how do we decide on cage size? And it's a very strange thing that this is both ego driven and mathematical. And when I say, how do we decide what the proper cage size is? So you got a Panther Chameleon. Think about, how would you describe how we determine what the proper cage size is? How do we determine that 2x2x4 is the proper minimum? And I will tell you, it's because that's the biggest we had commercially available. But if you go to other places, there are other places on the internet that you can go that they say that the 18x18x36 is proper for a male Panther Chameleon. And all of us saying, me specifically saying that they should be in larger cages is because I want to sell cages. So they have turned it into, not only we believe that this is the case, but we believe that 18x18x36 is the case. We are saying that everybody else who's telling you larger is lying to you. So they've literally turned this whole chameleon husbandry thing into an ego thing. And whenever this is a real problem on social media, because you say, oh, we're here, we're doing it for free, so you can trust us. People, nobody does something for free. And if they're not getting money, they're getting something else. And in this case, they're getting the feeling of power, and that's feeding their ego. So you got to be careful of motivations, especially when you're given something for free. Remember, if you get something for free, you are the product. Okay. Whew. All right. So be very careful that who you listen to. Make sure you trust them. And you're going to say, well, Bill, why should we trust you? Maybe you are in it just for the money and telling us all to get bigger cages just so we buy your big cage. I will tell you, it is a lot better to do a business on selling lots of small cages than the big cages, because if something goes wrong with the big cage, that's a lot of money to fix. So there's a lot of risk that comes with that. And also, if I was doing it just for the money, I would not have multiple videos on how to put together 2 Reptibreezes, and I would have not put together all these 3D files of mending plates so you could put together a Reptibreeze and give it to you for free. That would not be the case. So I'll just leave you with those little factoids, and you can do what you want with it. And then there's the mathematical. Some people decide we're going to figure out cage size by mathematics, and this is big in Europe, to where they say, okay, the snout to body length is this, and the cage has to be 4 body lengths wide, and they use by body width, body length, and that is, I mean, how do you decide what's the difference between 3 body lengths, 4 body lengths, and 5 body lengths? And nobody can answer that question. So it's an arbitrary, somebody sat down and decided this is the way it should be, without a whole lot of, I won't say intelligence. They tried really hard without a whole lot of meaning behind it, because a Parsons Chameleon and a Panther Chameleon have way different energy levels. So I don't think body length is the great way to do it. But Allow me to put an asterisk on that. It's not, so if you have this mathematical way, it's not meant for you to look at somebody else and say, we're better than you because we are by law being forced to do a bigger cage. You got to have a reason. And if you're forced to do something, well, that's not your choice. So there's got to be a reason behind it. Now, as much as I'm kind of poo-pooing that, I want to turn around and say it's absolutely essential that we have those standards. What they have in Europe is saying, okay, this many body lengths, that is critical for the survival of our community, because we need to present a face to the rest of the world that we are organized, that there are standards that we are adhering to. So when someone like PETA or any of these other groups wants to come and challenge us, they find a unified front, they find a set of standards, and instead of just making some ad hominem attacks about how we're all creepy, they have a spec that they have to argue against. You think that we're abusing animals? Okay, this is the spec. What do you tell us? What's wrong with that spec? And we can argue the spec instead of arguing these feelings. And so it's absolutely critical that we do these standards. And so I am not criticizing that we have them. I am just saying that the keepers who embrace these and decide that they are somehow better in some way, they got to come up with something a lot more, a lot better argument than just they've been forced to do standards. And so let's see. Is shoebox snake? I don't know. I really don't know what the rest of the reptile community in Europe does. I know very well what they do with chameleons, but it's kind of a black box after that. All right. And so we are left with the question, when is a cage big enough? And how are we going to decide when a cage is big enough? And I don't have that answer here. This is something for us as a community to think about, ponder, and start coming up with ideas. And since we live in the real world, I'd love to say each chameleon gets a room size enclosure, but we live in the real world. And I've always, in the Chameleon Academy, whenever I come up with standards, I say this is the new standard. We should appeal to this. It is with consideration for what is possible. Like you see my care guides, I have been talking about how I want larger cages for years upon years upon years, yet my care guides still say the minimum is 2x2x4 because we don't have a suitable replacement for the 2x2x4. And if I said, okay, the new standard is 4 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot, well, all of a sudden that drastically cuts down the number of people who can do it. Now, you may argue, well, it's best for the chameleon. But once again, I live in reality. And the chameleon community needs to be maintained just as much as the chameleons do. Because if we don't have the chameleon community, we don't have chameleons. So they are tied together. And oh, we're going to get to that one. We're going to get to that. Good question. So, now, there's also the question of how do we here in the Chameleon Academy community, how do we decide what the cage size is? Because we are entering into a new era where we are focusing on enrichment. We are going beyond saying, okay, this is the minimum and the minimum that they can live in. And we're going to what's the best that they can live in. And that's a significant mindset change. We are getting out of the breeder era where the community was built upon the efforts of breeders. And the breeders are very good at efficiency. They're very good at production husbandry. And so a lot of the emphasis has been on what's the minimum that we can keep these chameleons in. And so we are entering into a new stage. It's not a better stage, it's just the next stage. So us talking about enrichment doesn't mean that we go back and say the people beforehand did it wrong. This isn't an either or. We don't get to be in the enrichment stage until our community goes through the breeder stage to make sure that there's enough captive bred individuals to create a community that can have the luxury of talking about the enrichment stage. So that's where we are right now, the enrichment stage. And so the question is, how are we going to decide the cage size? And add to that, this is the first time that a large enough group to have actual gravity and mass is entertaining enrichment for baby chameleons. And you just think about where we're coming from. We're coming from the breeder era, where people are talking about how to breed mass numbers of babies. And so obviously they are going to be looking at the most effective production husbandry. Well, with us talking here at the Chameleon Academy about enrichment, about small batch breeding, we're starting to look at and having to face the question, what about for babies? And it's coming down to, since babies can be in such small enclosures, relatively small enclosures or large enclosures, we're now starting to ask not how big of a cage it should be, but how long will they live there? And this is, of course, a different mindset. So this is my proposal for panther chameleons. If you're going to keep them up to 3 months old, have a 30-inch tall cage. 6 months old, make it a 36-inch cage and wider. To adult, let's do the 24 by 24 by 48 or wider, even 48 by 24 by 48. So this is something that I am going to propose in the seminar that we talk about for our foster care of baby chameleons. We're going to be talking about what size cages should we do? And it's not just what can we get away with. Remember, the whole thing about small batch breeding is what can we give so we can give the baby chameleons the best life possible. And the reason why we have a community effort is so we take a clutch of 20 to 30 and we spread it out amongst the community, so none of us have to take care of 20 babies. We only take care of 6. 6 is manageable. This rack behind me, 6 cages, and it is perfect. I can maintain those 6. I can maintain them in a bioactive and give them each individual attention. And if you give me 12, then it's starting to become more of an assembly line instead of an enrichment experience. And we're not trying to figure out how to move as many chameleons through this system as possible. We've already done that. We've already done that as a community. What we're trying to do is figure out how can we have as much joy as a keeper and the chameleon can be as enriched as possible. How do we get both of those together? And that's what we're doing here. And we have an increased, we have a lot of people working with mini chameleons. Here we have the same situation where now we have the option of having smaller cages or larger cages. We don't have the problem like we do with the panther chameleon where the difference between a XL, a 2x2x4 and a 4x2x4 is just a huge jump in cost. No, here we can keep them in 30-inch cages, 36-inch cages, 48-inch cages. And so we now have a choice. And that comes to Robin's question. Does bigger equals better still hold? At what point is bigger doing it bigger, giving diminishing returns? So that is going to be a difficult question to ask and answer, and something that we're going to have to look at. At this point, I can give you a rough guess as to at what point a panther chameleon doesn't need bigger, but it's just a guess. Panther chameleons in captivity sit around. In Madagascar, they are walking all over the ground and the trees, and to figure out how important that natural behavior is, we have to figure out how much of that walking around is because they have to, or because deep in their DNA they're told to. And that is going to determine how big their cage needs to be. We don't have those answers. We're literally we're literally working all of this stuff out. And each size of environment takes different skills. This is part of what we're doing here. If you're making a 2 by 2 by 4 foot tall cage, a 16 by 16 by 30 inch cage, or a 4 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot cage, each one of those takes different skills to build. And so we can't just take the husbandry we know for a 2 by 2 by 4 and apply it to a 4 by 2 by 4, because the chameleon's not going to like it. And if we take those skills and we work on the smaller cage, we're going to be blasting that poor chameleon with UVB and fog and mist, and it's not going to be a healthy environment for him. So we have this situation where especially here in the chameleon community, because we are really pushing this. If you're not pushing the enrichment, if you're just embracing what we've been doing for the last 20 years, life doesn't change for you. I mean, you're set, you know things, you do the same things you've been doing for years upon years. We in the Chameleon Academy, we're pushing things forward. We keep trying different things to make life better. And so we have a whole lot more experimentation that we are doing. And the different size cages take different skills. And that's part of something that I'm working on, is figuring out how to communicate these differences. And Dr. Nash coming up with the Mini Chameleon podcast is part of that. He's specifically talking about mini chameleons, and that's important. So where we are right now is that chameleon husbandry is an art working on becoming a science. So much of the stuff we're still exploring. Maybe in 50 years, this stuff will be so well explored that it's all in a template. But that's not where we are right now. We are to where it's still an art, to where we look at a cage, we look at a chameleon's behavior, and we take a feeling. So we all deal with where we are, and that's where we are. And we are the ones that are slowly taking the art and putting it block by block and changing it into a science. That's our place in the world. That's our place in the history of the chameleon community. And I think Gandalf said something about, we don't choose where we are, we just choose what we do with it. So this is what we've got to choose to do with it. And so I'm going to take some questions. What kind of questions do you have about what we've gone over, caging, or where we want to go, where we need to go? Let me see. I think temperatures and humidity play a big role in cage size. The bigger you go, the harder it can be sometimes to maintain the correct husbandry. That's correct. And the smaller you go, the harder it is to maintain the correct husbandry, because now your equipment is overpowering the space. So our equipment is generally very good at the mid-range. And so this is part of what we need to do as a community when we're pushing husbandry, is we figure out how do we use the tools that we have appropriately for the different sizes? Oh. But I will say, the more space you have, the easier it is to make a stable environment. Once you have like these 4x2x4s, once you stabilize that environment, there's a number of microclimates, and it can absorb. It's more stable, so you get the humidity and it stays around after your mister is done a little more. So anyway, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. Thank you, Eliza Ann and Gandalf. That's exactly correct. So give you a little idea of what's going on. Oh. There's James. Definitely trying to figure out how to make the 3x3 and make it economically viable. Stay tuned. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. That is a wonderful adventure. So, okay, what's going on this week? Tomorrow, we had the Bifidus breeding group at 2 p.m. Pacific. All of these times are Pacific time, so I don't have to repeat that. And that's on the virtual campus. So if you're a member of the virtual campus, you can go to this meeting, even if you don't have Bifidus. Maybe in a year you will have Bifidus. Maybe in a year and a half you'll want to raise up Bifidus babies, or maybe you're just curious as to what's going on and what kind of projects are going on. You're invited. If you're on the virtual campus, join us. Chameleon Chore Night tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific. I have no idea what I'm doing. It'll probably depend on what Yvette asks of me. And then Monday morning at 5 a.m., we are going to be meeting for the Mini Chameleon podcast. This time we're talking about hydration, and that's on the main YouTube channel. And we have a live chat during the first showing at 5 a.m. Tuesday is office hours at 5 p.m., and that's here on the live channel, and that's open question and answer session. And then Wednesday at 5 p.m., that is when I will release the podcast, and the podcast is going to be about caging. So we're going to be taking everything that we talked about here and putting it into an official podcast for the world to listen to. And then we'll have the Saturday Chameleon Workshop next Saturday. And our big event is Fostering Baby Chameleons. That's a seminar that's going to be a week from Sunday at 1 p.m. And that is on the virtual campus. How is Dr. Nash enjoying making the podcast? I think he is. We're going to have to see if I can get, if he's going to go beyond 6. So, your action items now. Consider joining the virtual campus. Link is in the description. I'll go ahead and put another link here. And that's a way for you to be part of all these community projects, and a way to support what I'm doing here. And so I appreciate everybody. You don't have to be part of the projects, but I appreciate the support. Consider coming to Madagascar. I have 2 to 4 spaces available. Give me an email if you want any information. It's January 13th or 14th through the 29th. And then Tiny Dragons on Amazon. Leave a review if you get that book, and I would really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And so, whew, my friends, that was quite a Saturday workshop. See, James, I've been having so much fun with these Bifidus. Pair them up for the first time the other day. That was an adventure. Yeah, mine are not interested in breeding. Yikes. Although my shamrocks have been doing a lot of mating behavior. They just get together for such a short time. I cannot tell if they're actually mating, but it looks like they are. So we'll see. So, all right, everybody, I have gone over And so I just want to check any last comments for anybody, saying thank you very much for joining me here. And let me know. Give me some feedback. You can email me, just message me on the campus, whatever. Give me some feedback onto this topic. I'm interested in what you have to say, and I will. And if you have any questions that you'd like me to go over in the podcast that I didn't go over here, let me know, because this is the podcast is the official representation of this week's topic. When I do it here in a live, this is heard by you in the community, very small community. You hear it, but the podcast is what goes out to the world out there. So any feedback, send it to me, and you can affect how what goes into the podcast. So, all right, everybody, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.